Hello, this is Fi. We're checking out Elevated Justice. This is a game I've not played before. We're gonna give it a shot here, see if we can just give some feedback. Got the game page open here. It says Elevated Justice, high-speed bullet time FPS, and soon-to-be certified John Woo simulator. Find different guns and items, ascend the high-rise, and leave mayhem in your wake. Defeat all the enemies while defying the odds of survival. Inspired by Max Payne, Die Hard trilogy on PS1, GoldenEye, and Time Crisis, intended to be a love letter to the 90s and 2000s pre-rendered CGI. Note this is an early prototype and most gameplay features are still lacking. Alright, so that's all we got to go off of. Not seeing anything past this screen. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to check out the options menu if I can. Looks like maybe that's not implemented yet. Alright, so at the moment it's just in a window that's maximized, but we'll have to look out for options in the future. Let's see if how to play works. Oh, that is very, very, very blurry text. Okay, basic. Just says basic. It's kind of weird, like basic and then combat. So I guess basic is referring to what's down here. WSD movement, space jump, control is crouch, shift sprint, alt is slide, space double tap to dive. Alright, I don't particularly like the use of the alt key. It's just an awkward thing to reach for, especially if it's supposed to be for a movement mechanic. So I would suggest using something else. I know it's hard to find enough keys sometimes for all these things that you want to do. I don't know. I have to see how the slide works in game, but sometimes you can, you can do things like if you sprint and then jump and then press crouch, then it does a slide or something like that, like would remove the need for another key, things like that. But we'll see. Combat is left mouse is fire, right mouse is aim. Slow-mo is just here. There's no nothing it seems to be associated with, no key or anything that's listed here. I don't know if that's just a typo of sorts or whatever. R is reload. I guess P. And this, I guess that's a parenthesis. It's just kind of messed up because of the way that this is rendered. But I guess P is interact, pick up weapon. Wait. That can't be P. It must be F. It has to be F. You wouldn't use the P key like this. Let's assume that that's F. Short press is interact / pick up weapon. F. Long press is throw secondary. Throw secondary. Interesting. Alright, so I did consider that this slow-mo might be down to this word slow-mo might be meant to be a continuation of this right mouse aim in slow-mo, so that might be what it's very confusing the way this is laid out. But gain slow-mo and build your combo with kills. Higher combos increases reload speed and slow-mo kill rewards. I'm gonna check. Seems like my volume probably turn. Oh, I'm gonna leave that right where it was. Never mind. Just messing with the volume in the recording here. But I think it was fine. Yeah, so F key I tend to prefer, like for like a quote unquote interact key. I tend to prefer the E key. It's just kind of a little bit easier for me to reach that, I think, rather than kind of stretching the index finger laterally over to the F key. I'm assuming we don't have rebindable keys, so we're just going to have to live with what this is. I just have to remember to try the Alt key and remember to use the F key. Is going to be important, of course. So let's go ahead and click on Start Game and see what happens. Alright, here we are. Whoa, a little bit of a hitch there. Oh, okay, so it occurs to me we don't have any options, and therefore that means we have to deal with some things. So for one thing, we don't have mouse sensitivity adjustment. So that's too bad. This is definitely... feels a bit low to me, and so the other thing is that we don't have the ability to switch off VSync here, which is gonna... whoa, lots of hitching. Whoa, 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 whoa. What on earth? Oh my gosh. I didn't think I was gonna be fighting enemies yet. Oh god. What on earth? Okay, so I didn't... For one thing, I didn't expect there would be enemies yet because I was just in the middle of messing with the controls. The other thing is that I didn't expect that many of them all at once. I understand, you know, you're going to have slow-mo and stuff, so that's probably going to make a big difference, but that was just like quite a lot all at once. I'm looking for a little bit of a slower introduction to the game, you know what I mean? I haven't even gotten to try any of the controls yet, so... it seems like a lot. The other thing I noticed is the... oh my gosh, the... we've got this laser pointer that we're aiming with. Okay. But it seems like whenever you shoot, it starts like moving the pointer around, and it gets really disorienting, like trying to aim, because you don't have like a fixed point on the screen, like a reticle or whatever that you're aiming with. So once that thing starts moving around, it starts feeling really awkward to aim. Okay, it still doesn't work. So yeah, we're definitely going to be looking for, in a future version, some you know, once you get some options implemented, really important to have your mouse sensitivity, and the other thing is being able to switch VSync on and off, and an option to be able to go into exclusive full screen mode so that we can reduce the input latency, because that's a big deal for aiming in any kind of a FPS game in particular. So that's going to affect my aim when I'm attempting to play this, but now we've got a bunch of stuff over here. There's a ton of hitching going on. There's the slide, and then we've got the sprint. Oh, the bullets are really slow. And there's the slow-mo, I just wasted some of it. What is the... oh, I have to reload. Okay. So... okay, I have to click restart. Alright, so, yeah, I would prefer that this, like, when you press this, that it kind of just restarted, I think, rather than going into the menu. The other thing is it says press fire to continue, so this word kind of makes me automatically reach for the continue button. It's sort of a silly thing, but I think you get what I mean. So, if nothing else, you might want to change the wording here. Or just change that menu or something, but I'm not really sure, like, oh, what is that? Why are the bullets so slow? What the heck? Like, seriously, that's, okay, so what was it? Long press? And then if I tap it, then is there... can I switch weapons? How do we have a secondary... wait. There's no way to check the controls, unfortunately. I have to go back to the game page. I can do that though. Oh wait, no, it's not on the game page. It was in the main menu. There is a how to play thing. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna look at it again, because yeah, unfortunately, like without being able to look at this stuff in context, it's just hard to just look at this once and remember everything. It doesn't really work that way. So. Alt is the slide, but what about... oh, double tap space to do the dive. Okay, I was wondering about that, because like must be some kind of a way to dive in this game. We got reload. Short press is to pick up the weapon. Long press is to throw. Right. just a whole bunch of stuff here. I feel like those enemies are going to come piling in, so I don't really have time to like look at stuff. I don't know what any of these are really, but oh my gosh, that recoil. Okay, so we can manage the recoil a little bit as a as an element of the game here. I'm clicking. What? Left click is not doing anything. And he isn't not... I guess it doesn't see me, but why can't I click? Okay, I thought maybe I could throw it at him and it would like hurt, but oh no, I guess this just doesn't work. I don't know. Ronin Saber. Do I have like infinite bullets? Like the bullet pool? Gosh, it's dark in here. What the heck? Sound effects are funny. Oh boy. That's really hard to aim. Seems like the clatters are maybe a little bit generous. I'm confused about the if there's a secondary weapon, then how come... Do I just always have this pistol? Is it just the default and I just always have this? So if for some reason I get rid of one, then I always have that. I don't understand why I can't change weapons. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, why would you ever... If you don't actually run out of bullets, then why would you ever need to have that other pistol? That does shift around too, doesn't it? It's not just locked to the center of the screen, unfortunately, the little laser. That's kind of annoying, but I guess you just learn to live with it. How long until you can get up after doing the dive? Does it always get up automatically? Oh, it takes a little while, but I guess it's automatic. Yeah, I have no idea what any of these weapons are. I'm just grabbing random things. I don't really have any sense of... Oh! Okay, you can't aim and jump at the same time? Even in slow-mo, you can't aim while you're jumping. Unless you do a dive, I guess. Huh, interesting. So don't go jumping around unless you're diving. Katana doesn't seem to work. Oh, frick. Kinda wish you'd get up a little bit sooner, because... Oh gosh, wow, the aiming is so weird. Gotta remember that the F key is a little bit unusual of a key for me to hit, I guess. Seems like the enemies are pretty easy to kill until there's like a whole lot of them that are quite close to you, because they don't seem to do much until they get really close, and then like all of a sudden they're shooting a ton at you all at once. It's a little bit kind of an all or nothing thing. A little bit weird. Because otherwise they just seem to stand there and get killed. Where am I going, by the way? Did I go in like a big circle? Is there a map or something? Yeah, I guess I went in a big circle. Oh! So running actually uses up your little white meter in the bottom right, which is the same meter that it apparently controls your slow-mo, so... Oh, same with the diving. So I guess all this stuff you don't want to just run around. Just kind of, I don't know if I like that because that's I mean, running around in an FPS, it's like the default. It's usually the default way of moving around. You know, it's kind of unfortunate if it has to be tied to this resource that's kind of valuable because then it's forcing me to just walk around slowly when I'd rather just move more quickly. You know, and. Well, I think, I don't really want to be forced to do that. Especially if I'm just trying to move from point A to point B and there's nothing in between, you know? Because that's kind of the worst case where not only do you have to move slower, but there's nothing, nothing of interest happening until you get to the next location. So yeah, so doesn't appear that there's anything else for me to find here, but can fiddle with the guns a bit. Why are the bullets so slow though? Holy cow. Why did it shoot as soon as it was done reloading? Okay, I think it might be... Yeah, so I think what's happening is once you run out of ammo, if you click again, then it kind of buffers that. Even though it doesn't shoot it, it buffers the input, and then once you reload it immediately shoots again, so it seems like a little bit of a bug there. Okay, Alt also takes that meter. So I don't really understand why all of the movement controls have to use the same meter as your slow-mo. I don't really understand the thought process there, because if you just make all the movement free, and the slow-mo costs your white meter over there, I don't see what the downside of that would be. You're just going to be running and jumping around, and that's kind of what I expect you'd want to do in the game. So, does that make sense? I mean, whenever you have something that sort of resembles a stamina meter, I'm always kind of immediately questioning that, because it's like, is that really necessary? Because it's one of those things that can be quite, it can really dampen the fun, you know, that you can't just move around freely without it having this cost associated with it that runs out, and then you're stuck being slow, and I'd rather just keep moving. So in this case, I don't see a good reason, unless it's like avoiding, like does it give you iframes that you can dodge bullets with or something? Like, I don't imagine it would do that. And you can do stuff like, you know, like, sure, I could theoretically sit here and spam the slide, but even though we have it implemented right now, it's not like I'm just like shooting across the whole floor with it, because there's a little bit of a, you know, there's this slowdown, and I kind of come to a stop, and then I have to get back up and there's a brief period before I can do the next slide and everything. So you can just, you know, build in these little timers and stuff to prevent spamming in completely unreasonable ways, and you don't really have to tie that to a meter, you know, or a stamina or anything like that most of the time for most stuff. Okay, so before I restart this, it's a little bit, the music is so intense, it's kind of hard to talk over. I guess I'll turn my volume down a little bit so I can hear myself. I hope it's okay in the recording. I don't think the overall volume is loud. It's just kind of the intensity of the music, I guess. But so there's a lot of this recoil going on that I kind of mentioned right at the start, because I just immediately noticed how this laser is kind of moving around so much, and it just felt like really awkward. You kind of get, you know, you sort of get the idea of it pretty quick. That it's just something that you have to manage, but it can be a little bit annoying. It's I guess the thing is, like, if you're really in love with the idea of having the recoil on everything that you constantly have to deal with instead of just the sort of raw aiming where you just point the center of the screen at which you're trying to kill, I would suggest having the recovery on the recoil maybe could be a little bit faster, because it just seems kind of very gradual. And this kind of thing where it's fully auto, like in this particular case, it's sort of the way it's just kind of continuously wiggling. It's not really giving me something that I can reasonably manage. Like, how are you supposed to aim with the laser sort of wiggling constantly back and forth like that? It's not like, I think there's some other one where I could kind of manage it by, you know, I guess this kind of thing I can, in theory, I can kind of drag the mouse to compensate. That's an awkward way to do it. I guess if I point it at something, it helps. You know what I mean? So I can, in theory, if I just hold that down, I can compensate for it. It's really it's really strange, just the degree to which the shooting goes off center, but it's at least possible. And the other thing I was shooting at, it didn't really have that kind of, I don't know which one of these things it was, gosh darn it. I guess it was this one, but it's like I can't really, it's just that it just sort of wiggles back and forth. It doesn't really go off in one direction, so I can't really reasonably compensate for it much. It's just sort of like, like, what is that? I don't know. I think there's a point at which you can kind of aim the tracers of coming out of the gun, maybe. It's very hard to see. But the laser itself is just going blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't really seem to make a lot of reasonable sense, the kind of feedback you're getting in terms of your aiming with this gun, at least. Yeah, I don't know. I think you could tone it down a little. Just maybe the distance that it moves, as well as the recovery, maybe the recovery time for the laser. And I think other games that I have played, I've played a few other games that have some recoil mechanics, and it's usually a little bit more snappy rather than the like smooth flowing back and forth. So it kind of rather quickly jerks your aim and then stops like every time you shoot and that kind of thing. And I think usually those games will actually move the whole camera, but I don't know. In any case, I'm gonna go ahead and give this another shot. Let's just try this out, I guess. I don't really know how to react to the enemies. I mean, mostly they're just standing around and not reacting. But when they do shoot at me, it seems kind of overwhelming. Like they just... Maybe it has something to do with the lack of visual feedback, because they just sort of capsules the spheres on the top. I can't really tell if they're, you know, if they want to hurt me or not. So maybe if there was a little bit more visual feedback, if they actually, you know, looked like they were pointing a gun at me, then I might have a little bit more information about what they're doing. And yeah, you know, game's early in development, but so far it's like I'm not really getting a sense that the mechanics are really important here. This is a little bit strong. I can just kill things from range like this. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to jump on this, but I guess you just can't. What's up with that? What the heck? Oh, is it that kind of thing? Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, no, you have to have some air. We don't actually have any air control. I didn't even realize that until now. Okay. No, you have to have some air control. It feels really bad if you don't have air control, and the worst case is when you walk up against something and I just hold forward and I jump and I can't get up on it because I don't have any forward inertia, so I have to step back and then get a running start and then jump on this. That feels awful. So I definitely recommend adding a little bit of air control. I'm surprised I didn't notice before now. It's just one of those things where it's very annoying to be locked into a specific trajectory once you press the jump button. I know you can kind of do a dive afterwards, and that sort of, in a sense, kind of helps compensate for it, but no, I definitely think you need some air control there, and most particularly if you ever want to have anything resembling platforming, you're definitely going to need that, but yeah, just in general, there's really no reason not to do that, but yeah, I don't know, is the AI... Oops, that was kind of bad. Is the AI, obviously it's very early state, but I don't know if it's buggy or just, it's just very simple. Yeah, it's just very crude at the moment in terms of the enemies. So, I don't really have enough pixels to see very well what's going on down there. Okay, it's... yeah, so unfortunately the way you've got it right now that I realize it, so you have this diving mechanic, which you would imagine in this type of game would be like one of the central mechanics of the game, like you're going to want to use that all the time, but unfortunately when you jump, your aim goes completely bonkers, it just goes way off in some other direction. And by the time you do the dive, you have to wait a little bit before it actually recovers your aim properly to aim, so it's like you can't even shoot until at least like more than halfway through the dive. Like it's like once you're already on the ground, then it's like your aim starts working again, you know? Why do they just go mental? They just like hold down the fire button or something. I have no bullets. No more bullets. Okay. Yeah, I feel like the diving is just not very effective when your aim gets so screwed up. Why do they all come? I didn't even tell where I was shooting. I wasn't looking at the laser, I was looking at the person in front of me. So yeah, let's Wait, what? What did I just see? Oh, they blink and disappear. Okay. Oh, that is very randomized. Yeah, it's nice if you can make the spread a little bit more consistent instead of pure random, because that is just very RNG feeling. You don't want to end up with the situation where you shoot at a guy and all the bullets just go like perfectly on either side of them, something like that, you know. Or if you completely miss but all the bullets go into the guy anyways, and it just ends up being just RNG, and that's kind of lame, you know. Yeah. What else do we have to say about this? I should probably wrap this up. I feel like I've seen enough at this point, but well, I guess the other thing I would say is that the slow-mo itself feels kind of weak. Like usually slow-mo is sort of the superpower. It also sucks that it keeps running out so much, and I guess there's this idea that you're supposed to kill enemies quickly to refill the slow-mo. There's just not... Ouch. I didn't see what hit me. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to... Can I not dive and reload at the same time? Wait, how do you... Okay, that's kind of lame. For whatever reason, you can't reload while you're diving, which is it's frustrating because the dive feels like it's a good defensive option, right? So if a bunch of guys are just like standing out here in the open and blasting away at you, and you're out of bullets, it's pretty lame if you have to just stand there, you know, just walk around slowly while you're reloading instead of trying to dive out of the way and get your gun back up and running. So yeah, and the other thing is, like, if I press the reload button, I want the gun to reload. I don't want it to get interrupted by like nonsense, and then I'm like, why isn't my gun reloaded? Apparently they can take hits after they're already dead here. Yeah, this one doesn't seem to work. Apparently I can reload even if my magazine is full. Yeah, so I think going into slow-mo, it almost feels like nothing happens some of the time. I mean, I can tell that the enemies are slowing down a bit, but it doesn't feel like the kind of superpower you usually get in these kinds of games. I do kind of wish that the aiming somehow improved while you're doing it. That just kind of feels like that's a thing you should do, and in particular if you're talking about these weapons, like I guess this seems sort of like a longer range weapon of sorts. Might be nice if you get a little bit more of a zoom or something when you activate the slow-mo, and you know, maybe you could even like reduce the recoil or something. You know, just to enhance your abilities in a meaningful way while you're using that. But yeah, so not sure why the bullets are so slow. I will mention that apart from it just feeling weird, it does mean that things feel a little bit less responsive. There's a delay in the feedback, particularly if you're shooting at someone far away or someone who's just not very close, because these are very slow bullets. People can just kind of move out of the way and not get hit by your shots, which means that you're not really in control of whether your shots hit anymore past a certain point, because no matter where you aim, you don't know, you know, the enemy could go left, they could go right, and you know, they could just move out of the way, and you can't really control anymore whether or not your shots are going to be accurate if the bullets are moving too slow. So gosh, that is insane recoil. Does it go in different directions? Oh my gosh, it's kind of like a randomized recoil. It feels awkward. Oh my gosh, no. Why is it? It's like the recoil gets to the point where it's literally shooting off the screen at some point, and I don't know what to do anymore. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, let's wrap this up. This is very interesting. Oh, you keep sliding for like a long time. Why was I sliding for so long? Right. Interesting. So if you just slide normally, you get up quite quickly, but if you run and then slide, you just keep sliding for like quite a long time sometimes. Huh, it seems to not be entirely consistent. Maybe some little bit of a buggy behavior there or something. Something's not quite consistent there. I'm sure you saw that in the video here, but don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so closing thoughts. Interesting game. I definitely can appreciate this kind of concept. I'm not a fan of the recoil as it's currently implemented, although I don't necessarily have a problem with the concept of recoil mechanics. It's a little bit I don't know if I necessarily prefer games to have recoil mechanics versus not. You know, I can at least understand that, you know, there's things you can do to compensate for that, and that could just be part of the game, and maybe that makes it more interesting. Especially if you're talking about a game that's really close quarters most of the time, which this seems like it's kind of designed around that, and the colliders on the enemies are fairly forgiving and stuff, so, you know, maybe that works out fine, but it just seems like it's too much, and it's too kind of wonky feeling, and it takes too long to recover after it goes off in somewhere, and especially the fact that the jumping kind of screws everything up, and then the way it interacts with the dive and everything, it's all a little bit funky to me, so I definitely feel like that could be tightened up a lot. And I want to see the slow-mo feel a little bit more powerful. Definitely like to suggest that you consider removing the penalties to your slow-mo meter when you're doing movement stuff, so you can just do that. I think that'll be fun. And then you know, the enemies. Wait, I'm still on the ground here. Is that after a dive? Oh, okay, so that's just normal. If I don't touch anything, it just stays down like that. Kind of cute, I guess. Like maybe you're just like waiting around for a guy to come around a corner or something. You want to lay prone. Yeah, the enemy design is obviously just in a really crude state. That's just, you know, the game is early, whatever. It's kind of just goofy at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see where things go from here, but hopefully this is a useful video for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.